Okay, let's do question 1 from the past paper questions. All right, so part AI, that is asking us to give some information about what is in certain sets. So they're asking for the intersection of P and Q. Well, that's pretty easy. It's just I and J. All right, we just write it using set notation like that. So part 2 is asking us for not P, or the complement of P, unioned with Q. So what we're going to do is we need all of both of these things. So what is not in P? We have K and M and N. Well, we need to union that with Q. So what haven't we done yet? We haven't included I and J. Whoops. I and J. All right, that's it. All right, now part 3 is definitely trickier. Oh, actually not so much. That's the next bit. Okay, it's the number of things in not the intersection of P and Q. So the intersection of P and Q is here. So we want everything else. Did I write that down right? Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. It's union, not intersection. Let me union Q. All right, so everything that is not in the union of P and Q. Well, isn't that just these two things on the outside? So the number of things is 2. All right, let's look at part B. Part B is where it gets a bit trickier. So part B is saying a letter is chosen at random from the set of Q. So this is something called conditional probability. This is a bit hard because we're not interested in everything. We're only interested in the bits of the Venn diagram that the question tells us about. So on the bottom of our fraction, we always put the total number of things. But in this case, the total number of things is only set Q because that's all it's interested in talking to us about. So there are 3 things in set Q. So that's what goes on the bottom. But it wants us to know what is the probability that it's also in set P. So the things that we want are also in set P. So that's these 2 things. So the probability is 2/3. All right, part C is asking us to color stuff in. So we are being asked to color in, where is it? The intersection of not P and Q. Right, so we want what does not P have in common with Q? So it needs to be Q, but also not P. So isn't it just that? This is Q, but it's also not P. This is what those 2 things have in common. All right, and then D is asking us to use set notation to describe FGH. All right, so if we look at F, G, and H, how could we talk about that using set notation? So it's kind of doing it backwards. Like up here, it gave us the set notation and told us to say what's in it. Now it's doing the opposite. So this is FGH, right? So we need P without its intersection. Isn't that just the opposite of what we did here? This was not P, but Q and what they have in common. So isn't this what not Q and P has in common? So this is going to be P intersection not Q. That's what F, G, and H are. This is what P has in common with not Q, or the complement of Q. All right, that is question 1.